And we are live on that. Live on YouTube. Live on Twitch. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Week 12 of League 1, Season 12. Tonight we have number 16, Florida State, at Syracuse, the Carrier Dome, followed up by number 4, undefeated Memphis, at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. So without further ado, we'll take a quick look at the Florida State Seminoles roster and then get kicked off. And Coach Spectre is going to walk you through his opponent. Coach.
Hello, sports fans. Number 16, Florida State makes the trip up to Syracuse into the Carrier Dome. As Coach Ninja told you, he'll be doing the play-by-play. I'll be coaching Syracuse against this vaunted Florida State team coming in 16th again. They have the sophomore DeAndre Francois off these 2016 rosters that came out in 2017, and Jacques Patrick. Oh no, check that. This is the 2017 roster. Jacques Patrick, the impact player at halfback for Florida State. Not quite as fast as Green or Akers. We're perfectly content. We say that now. He's getting about 100 yards a game. And he's got a little bit of receiving, but not too much. The quarterback he will run. He's got a low completion percentage, but he's 19-6 touchdown to interception ratio. And yards per game, 35 rushing. So he could make some noise on the ground. The receiving core, pretty solid 3 ways through. You see Murray, Tate, and Gavin, the main guys. The number 1 Murray getting 86 yards per game. Tate with 26 yards per game. Gavin with 22 yards per game out of the slot. The tight end, Ryan Izzo, 46 yards a game and 6 touchdowns. They like him in the red zone. They like him all over the field. He'll be an active part of the passing game. Left tackle, Derek Kelly, 74. Yeah, the tight end. Obviously, Coach Ninja saying that he believes he's a New England Patriot. Landon Dickerson, the left guard. Nasty, 89, sophomore. Alec Eberle and Cole Minshew is actually hurt. He will miss the game. So Frith will come in at right guard. That'll be a boon to our pass rush, we hope. Right tackle Rick Leonard may struggle on the edge as well. Brian Burns also will be out. So the freshman 81, Josh Kando, coming in at left end. And Josh Sweat there, the 90 right end, will with 91 speed and 97 agility and acceleration. There won't be very much scrambling to the left, I believe, today. He is a menace. Naughty Christmas, with Jones rounding out the D tackle position. See an 81, 83, 89. Now, if any of these guys get hurt, we'll have a 174-pound cornerback in there. Great in pass coverage, not against the run. But the 3 linebackers on the field, a couple of impact players and some quality right there. Tavares McFadden was a first-round draft pick, I believe. Derwin James was at safety. But McFadden there, along with an 83 and 82 in the slot, going to be tough to pass. That's where the strength of this team really is, in the secondary. They come in with a good pass defense. And Derwin James, the leader of the pack there, the sophomore 96, top 10 draft pick in the NFL draft. Quality-wise.
Yeah, he's not playing his senior year. He's going early.
And, of course, the second-round draft pick, Ricky Aguayo, we hope that he'll miss a couple of kicks here. The big bust for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But clearly a defensive team. Now we're going to take a quick look. They have announced the awards semifinalists. We're going to run through those really quickly. The Maxwell got a couple of users. Dungy running second. And then towards the bottom of the list, Ishmael, the wide receiver, also making the Maxwell list with his 2,200 all-purpose yards. The Walter Camp, Dungy again running in second, and Ishmael towards the bottom there. A couple of offensive MVP awards. Now defensive MVP, Jonathan Thomas, the linebacker for Syracuse, in the top three. Got a chance to be a finalist there for defensive MVP, along with Zaire Franklin, another linebacker. Two really outstanding performances this year from the linebacking position in Thomas and Franklin for the Orange. And then Thomas for the Nagurski falling a little bit out of the top three. O'Brien for best quarterback. Dungy in the top three. Had a bye last week, so he dropped a little bit. Then there's Ferguson. You'll see him later tonight taking the field against Navy. The Doak Walker for best running back. There's one user on it, and it's Strickland, the halfback out of Syracuse. Most of that you see his numbers up at the top of the screen. 300 yards rushing, but he does have 63 catches for 600 yards. His strength is in the catching at 76 for a halfback is outstanding, and we do put that to use. The Bolitnikov, a tight user race between Ishmael, who's currently leading, and Pappy White from the Ohio Bobcats, led by one of our coaches in our league, Coach Doc Jocular. And then, of course, Anthony Miller from Memphis. You'll see him later in the second game as well. So a couple of users there fighting it out with a receiver from Memphis. The best tight end, second runner, or the first runner-up, Tyler Conklin right now for Central Michigan. That's another one of our coaches, Coach Blitz Krieg. You see there's 79 catches and 8 touchdowns with 1,200 to go for it. He's making a push for that award for best tight end. The offensive line, interesting from the standpoint that Oklahoma has all 5 offensive linemen in the top 10 of the best offensive lineman award. So their entire offensive line, that's the Hogs right there. And obviously the center leading the way for the Remington. The Lombardi for best lineman, Kevin Robbins from the Ohio Bobcats coming in with 11 sacks and a fumble recovery. Had a great season so far for an Ohio team that's threatening to win the MAC. They are in the running here late season, trying to win their division. Best linebacker, we see Thomas again in the top 3. We got next week they'll announce the finalists, and anybody outside the top 3 can't win the award. So Thomas going to need to have a good game to strengthen his position here. That's something that we'll be hoping to do, but certainly not going to take any risks against Florida State. You don't see any users for the Thorpe. As has been noted, the user teams have been getting torched through the air. We have J-Rod's black sliders for the most part all season, and as you know, those are the ones that are very, very, very challenging, to put it mildly. Kicker for Memphis, popping up on the Groza. And best punter, one more user, Hoffrichter, handles all the kicking duties for the Orange. You see 7 out of 12 punts downed inside the 20 with a long of 65. He is a freshman, 91. Best returner, no question, no doubt, Steve Ishmael with his 5 touchdown returns. He leads the nation in both kickoff return average and punt return average, coming in with 43.3 yards per kick return, over 20% of them returned for touchdown, and punt returns 13.8, leading the country on punt returns. Ohio's Pappy White making his appearance there, second best return man. He's got 1 for a touchdown. A couple other guys have 1. There's a punt return for a touchdown by a Cal's player. But Ishmael's 5. He's doing his best impersonation of the great Bears returner, Devin Hester. We're now going to move to the game. Without any further ado, we'll probably in 2 weeks' time go through the finalists for some of these awards. And then, of course, at the end of the season, we'll let you know who among your favorite players in the league have made some of the all-conference teams and all-American teams as well. And we'll try to get the Heisman presentation to you as part of that package. We thank you for joining us once again. I'm going to hand it back over to Coach Ninja. He'll do the play-by-play for this game against number 16 Florida State, and we'll see his Navy midshipmen immediately following this game. Let's get some football going on.
All right, thanks, Coach. As you can see here, on Florida State's side of the ball, they've got a reasonably productive yardage, at 46, pass offense 44, rush offense 54, for points of 74, and it's the defense, which is top 13 overall and very good against the rush and against yards in general, that gets them that 7-3 record, 4-3 in the ACC. Conversely, an entirely opposite story for the Syracuse Orange. It is the offense, number 1, 53.4 points production and 13 through the air, that keeps them in games with a points against and a pass defense that are bottom of the barrel. A home game for the Orange, they're going to have a bunch of visiting prospects. Now, the Orange, of course, do have number 1 rush defense in the country, but not a lot of people rush against a team that can score 54 points a game. A couple of important visits here for the Syracuse Orange. And as you can see, Ishmael, Phillips, and Hofrichter, 3 key players for the Orange, whereas it's the free safety, right end, and corner that are all the 3 top players for the Florida State Seminoles, and they're all defensive players, and they're all defensive players in different sectors, combining to an incredibly balanced defense. No wind, no rain, no snow inside the Carrier Dome.
One of the most storied legacies in the history of college football.
I started my coaching career, I had a dream. And every decision that I made, that I will be the head football coach at Syracuse University. Undefeated, one-time.
1959 national champions.
Syracuse has scored an undefeated season, and the team carries then Fort Walter off the field.
It's going to be the greatest victory that you kids have ever had.
Dozens of the most prolific and impactful players in the game. The first African American to win the Heisman Trophy. 6 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 53 All-America selections.
We need to make this place the hardest place to play in the country. We need you. We need everyone. This is our state, our town, our team, and we gotta win now. Go Orange!
Spanning more than 10 successful seasons and covering the country from California, Ohio, North Carolina, and Virginia. This is League One NCAA football.
Don't you let anyone steal history away from you.
Since 1889, this is Syracuse football.
Hofrichter kicks it off, and it's smack dab in the middle of the letters, and Akers takes the knee. Coming out on defense, the Orange are trying to make a statement early. Tight end left side of the field and halfback to the right of the quarterback in the shotgun. Couple of broken tackles, and Nawan Murray gets a good 24 yards on the first play of the game. Murray, as you saw, in the running for some awards. Four wide receiver, single back left. Jacques Patrick can't get past his own line, and the defender comes up from behind him. Keeps him to a gain of 1. Trips left. Thomas comes through, flushes him from the pocket. Francois gets sacked for -5. And now, 3rd and long here for the Seminoles. And back-to-back sacks against DeAndre Francois, 4th and 19. That is a statement on first possession for the Orange defense.
The next time this quarterback drops back to throw, you got to be thinking he's going to be a little bit gun shy and concerned about the pressure that these defense is putting on him.
After the sack, it's now 4th and long.
FSU being forced to punt it away. Ishmael underneath it. A little bit of miscommunication on the blocking, but Steve Ishmael does the work anyway, gets 9. Their own 27, a reasonable place to start for the Syracuse Orange. Minute and a half into the first quarter. Game opening ritual, Ishmael on the drag route. You see him looking off into the flat, seeing, you know what, one guy's going to get blocked. It might get me an extra yard. I'm going to run for the sideline. Smart play there by Ishmael. 2nd and 1, every coach's favorite down and distance. Seeing a normal halfback week here. 4 down linemen for the Seminoles, but very spread out. The Orange take advantage of the spread. Dante Strickland gets 3 yards up the middle. And it was 3 yards, pretty much all of them after getting contact at the line of scrimmage. Great job by Strickland to muscle through. As you can see here, coach making, these are positional adjustments that will put better receivers, for example, in anything called strong slots, the better receivers are going to be in the slot. It gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility, and as players, we happen to really quite like the slot routes in a lot of positions, but formation subs can get squiffy if you then want to have the good guy in the sideline out of the same formation. It's not as flexible. A great run there by Dungy to first try to extend the play so that a receiver got open, but seeing no receivers open, running the ball for it himself, getting 6 yards on first down on the ground.
Second down, 4 yards to go. Ball on their own 45.
2nd and 4, and Dungy doesn't like it, calls an audible. Zero-yard gain. Dungy makes the right call on the pitch man, but it's the end that comes off of the run blocker to force Dungy to try and go to the outside, where he gets trapped between the end and a closing member of the secondary. Yeah, that's a 90 right end with a 91 speed. It's going to be difficult to run to the left all day. And I think that's the same guy who just came in for that deflection. Myers, two. We are told that there's a new formation here, that the Wildcat is apparently new to this playbook, and there's a switch, that coach wants to make sure that people are in the right position in the Wildcat. The Wildcat, famous for Miami Dolphins, I believe, almost upending the AFC with it a few years ago, and not winning the division, but not quite, because, like the Oakland A's losing the last game of the series in the playoffs. A revolution in sports that almost was. So we'll see what happens with the introduction of the Wildcat offense to the Orange playbook. All right, some creative changes there to the Wildcat, and we'll see what happens. But for now, Hofrichter is out in punt formation on 4th and 4, after both teams are forced to punt on their first possessions. And an incredible punt on the 2.5. That is a fantastic field position. Really, the Seminoles on their own 3 backed up against it and deciding to come out in a heavy formation. You see there 2 tight ends and a fullback and a half. And Jacques Patrick only gets 1 yard. And we continue to see halfback, fullback, 2 tight ends, and only 1 wide receiver here. Now, still on the 3. They're calling it the 3. Say he gained a yard, but he's still on the 3. Ace formation, single wide receiver to the right. Great job by the safety to come down, find the gap, and keep it to 3rd and 7 now on the 6. Now that it's 3rd and 7, you're seeing a very different formation here from the Seminoles. 4 wide receivers and a single back. Looking at a quarter here. And Gavin gets separation and gets 18 yards. Corner routes pretty deadly in this game. Orange just gonna have to take another run at it. Team tackling keep Auden and Tate from going for more than 24 yards on that play.
He was on the same page as his quarterback as they both saw the double outside linebacker blitz coming.
First down, 10 yards to go. All on the 48-yard line. Quarterback all by himself in the backfield with 5 wideouts.
And a big sack there by Rodney Williams. Makes it 2nd and 18. Continuing to see 4 wide, 1 back here from Florida State. And this time Francois throws it wide. We're getting another 3rd and long here. Another shot for the Orange defense to get a stop. And another sack. That's 2 stops on back-to-back sacks. FSU's 2nd punt. Ishmael underneath, makes the catch, better blocking this time. 12-yard return to the 37. 2 minutes left in the first. Game is still scoreless.
This is a fun game, and I think we're going to see a lot of interesting football before it's over.
3 down linemen now for the Seminoles. Dungy is on the run. And he has to extend the play until Irvin Phillips gets outside of his man and force the back in the flat to creep towards him so that he's trying to cover the quarterback scramble, waits for it, and throws the ball perfectly into space.
We've got a 1st and 10. Ball on the 44.
Dungy with the keeper gets 7 up the middle. Tyrell Richards gets 2 yards up the gut on 3rd and inches. 32-yard line. We're in the outside edge of field goal range for the Syracuse Orange. They do have a leg with some power, but they're looking to do something else as we see the Wildcat come out as the seconds are ticking down in the first. Dungy takes the handoff and then throws it back across the field to Ishmael. That is a ridiculous play that absolutely blew up. That was fantastic. That's like the double pass. Only if more plays like that worked. Like you know, I would love to have some ineligible receiver plays, some double pass plays, but that's a risk with the way this game works, and also the fact that we play with 65 play offensive playbooks. So I don't even have as many read options as I actually want. All right, we're scoreless at the end of the first, but the Syracuse Orange, after that fantastic Wildcat pass, are in the red zone, 2nd and goal from the 5.
And we're back for more action here in quarter number 2.
3 down linemen, 3 linebackers it looks like here. Dungy keeps it and runs the touchdown in. Standing up, looked like not a read, but a designed quarterback run. And James Jr. with a fantastic return. That is a touchdown-saving tackle, but that is an incredible return, breaking 5 or 6 tackles on that return. Now we see 2 tight ends and a halfback and 2 wide receivers here, as FSU has 1st and goal from the 4. And Murray, no one's surprised. Naquan Murray gets the touchdown. Point after will tie the game. The score does even momentum a little, but it wasn't a kick return for a touchdown. That matters for momentum for the long term. There's 7:41 left to go in the first half. Still plenty of time for Syracuse to reassert its defensive power. Defense has been great. It's just that one return does not a game make. I should say, we hope to get another chance for the Orange to get a stop and change the scoreline. As this time Phillips gets the 15-yard return and starting on the 12. Back to 4 down linemen for the Seminoles. We have a normal halfback week from the Orange. Strickland comes out of the backfield. Gets 3 yards.
Because the defense was just waiting on it and they attacked. The quarterback should have found somebody else downfield.
From their own 15-yard line. It's second down.
Phillips coming across in a drag. He gets 10 yards, in no small part due to good downfield blocking by the left side receivers.
And the receiver, and the result, again, a nice play for the offense.
Eric Dungy, 6 for 7 so far for 68. As we now see a very heavy formation here. And the pitch is out to Ishmael, who gets 10 yards in the first down but can't quite escape to break open into the secondary. But a fantastic run to get all of it in one try.
First and 10. Ball on the 35. 5 guys will be out in the pattern as they're in the shotgun.
Dungy making an audible. And throws the ball away.
Better job of being able to read that defense and make quicker decisions. And especially when the defense starts to get pressure, you got to either get rid of that football or check it down or take off and run with it.
From their own 35-yard line. Second down. And they make the stop at the 31-yard line.
The defense got a great push and blew that play up well behind the line of scrimmage.
It's third down, 14 to go. Ball on their own 31. They come out in a 5-wide set.
Phillips with a fantastic 20-yard reception. Double coverage, but they were both behind him. Perfectly timed to get there before they could get a hand in after he'd made the cut. And keeps Syracuse alive on 3rd and long.
From the 49-yard line, it's first down.
As we now see a split big from the Orange. And Dungy gets hit in the backfield again.
Those linebackers do a great job of stopping the run. They need to be careful to play action pass. They can easily get fooled and give up some big yards through the air.
From their own 49-yard line. Second down. Empty backfield. Quarterback in the gun. 5 wide receivers. He's going to try and scramble.
Dungy tries to extend and sees nobody get open and runs the scramble himself 12 yards to the far sideline.
Around them, which takes the best coverages out of your defensive playbook.
First down, 10 to go. Ball on the 39.
Ishmael in motion. Screen didn't quite work. Blocking was not there in time for Ishmael.
Second down.
Strickland gets held up on his own guy, but then breaks into space just in time so Dungy can get the pass off before he gets pressure.
From the 28-yard line. First down.
Mahoney in a heavy set, tight end on the right, fullback and halfback behind him. Strickland gets no yards after number 9 gets through.
And this is the 12th play of the drive. They come out in an empty backfield.
5 wide receivers here on 2nd and 10. 4 down linemen. And the Orange taking some time. See an audible. Dungy again runs. Tries to slide but dives. Makes it 3rd and 1. On the 19-yard line. 2 minutes. Didn't go out of bounds. The clock is still moving at a gentle 1 second per second.
Third down again.
All right, we see Mahoney again, and we see another heavy set. And Perkins not only gets the first down, but he gets 6 more yards than he needed. It's 1st and 10 from the 13 now. We're looking at a live clock, under 2 minutes to go in the half.
Play number 14 of this drive.
Again, 3 down linemen. That's a linebacker on the left side. Up near the line of scrimmage, near number 60, the left tackle. Dante Strickland goes up the gut for 2, seeing that linebacker out on the left side had it all covered up. 2nd and 8 from the 11. Minute and 15.
From the 11-yard line, it's 2nd down.
Ishmael in motion takes the handoff, gets 2 yards up the gut. It's now 3rd and 6 with a live clock. 45 seconds left to go in the half. Tie ball game. Number 16, Florida State at Syracuse.
Play of the drive. There are 5 wide receivers split out. The quarterback in the gun. He scrambled.
And Dungy makes the dodge. He beats the one man he needs to beat.
When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Deacons relentless with their rushing attack, and they score a touchdown. The Demon Deacons lead 20-14. All right, thanks a lot, Reese. Syracuse gets set to kick this one away.
Florida State will have 25 seconds to work with. And they're going to start on the 20-yard line. Quarter. And Naquan Murray gets 7 yards and costs a timeout.
They didn't get the first down, but they picked up about 7 yards.
They need about 3 yards to get the first here on second down.
Some fumble button presses, but defense stops for 7 yards, costs 4 seconds and a timeout to get 7 yards. Not really what Florida State's looking to do right before the half.
5 wide. Scrambling around.
DeAndre Francis with the scramble. Clock is live as they do not call a timeout.
So an empty backfield with 5 wide receivers.
But that's the end of the half.
We've played a half of football here. Syracuse leads.
Great half of football by Syracuse Orange. They lead 14-7.
We played 30 minutes. Glad to have you with us on the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. David Pollack and I here in the studio to break down everything that just happened in your game. I'm a fan of seeing guys one-step wrap, two-step squeeze, bring your feet, arrive with bad intentions. I don't want to take anything away from these defensive guys, David. But could this be that we're seeing a healthy dose of some pretty bad offense, too?
It goes hand in hand, doesn't it, Reese? I mean, usually, sometimes, pretty good defense makes, average offenses look really, really bad. But, when you have a great defense, you can take something.
Negative rushing yards and
Make them do things that they don't
83 total.
don't let them throw the fastball, make them throw the curve. You see great defenses be able to do that all the time. And that's when you can be able
As
to
Syracuse,
find ways to make people play the game out of their comfort zone.
That's going to do it for David.
as we're going to take the halftime opportunity to do some quick, hot swapping some batteries. Yep. And once that's done, I will take a quick look at your team stats so far this game, while Coach Spectre, the coach of your Syracuse Orange, has a quick necessities break. All right. So, looking at game stats here. First of all, total offense, a paltry 83 for Florida State, but 169 for Syracuse. Not really as much as they usually do, considering they're usually about a 530 yard a game team. Intentionally slowing the game down, as you can tell, in order to keep their offense on the field. Almost as many passing yards for both teams. 100 for Syracuse, 93 for Florida State. It's the rushing game that dials the Florida State back and the Syracuse Orange up. Also, third down conversions, 1 out of 3 for the Seminoles and 4 out of 5 for the Orange. No turnovers yet this game, But that kick return and punt return yardage, as you can see, 98 yards, more than half of their total yardage, even before the subtraction of the negative yards on the ground for sacks, really shows that it was that one big play that's been keeping Florida State in this. Dungy so far, 9 out of 11, 100 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. DeAndre Francois, 6 out of 7 for 93 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. Whereas rushing, Francois is negative 22 on 5, and Jacques Patrick has a 3-yard rush on 4 attempts. 3-yard average on 4 attempts, I should say. Whereas many players are seeing the ball on the ground for the Orange, primarily Dungy with 9 for 41, and Strickland 4 for total of 8. Strickland out of the backfield, getting stopped a fair amount. It's on the receiving side of the ball where Strickland, as usual, is getting much more yardage. 3 receptions, I should say, for Ishmael, Phillips, and Strickland each. Whereas if we look at Florida State's receptions, it's not a whole lot of receptions in general, but most of them by far are going to Murray. Defensively, Matthew Thomas is far and away for the Florida State Seminoles the guy making sure things get done. Oh, that's not what I wanted to look at. I wanted to switch to the other team, not a different thing. Whereas you can see Franklin, Dowells, Cordy, and Williams all getting in on the action for the Syracuse Orange. Alright, so that is our stat line, and we'll be back in just a second and with the second half of FSU at Syracuse. All right, and we will be kicking off again in just a second. Thank you for bearing with us as we provided ourselves with the sweet, sweet sounds that we need. Coach having some footwear problems coming out of the locker room. Fortunately, not one of his players losing his shoe. As the Orange now get another chance at offense. Ahead by 7. Ooh, some miscommunication on the blocking keeps Steve Ishmael at 15 yards on the return. Well below his 45-yard average return. Once again, we see 5 wide here. One of the Orange's favorite. And Ishmael makes the reception and drops it when he gets hit. That is a 96 free safety that hit him. That is a powerful hitter right there. Quite the competition going to be today between that center fielder and that wide receiver. As this time Strickland comes out of the backfield, gets 13 yards, and there was nobody over the middle.
There aren't many linebackers who can stay with him in coverage, that's for sure.
Eric Dungy, 10 for 13, 113 yards. Dungy on the scramble. Throws it away as there is a contain man out in the flat.
It's 2nd and 10. Ball on the 30. Pulls it in and he's in the open field. That's a great tackle. The 39-yard line.
You can tell he's got a lot of faith in his wide receiver.
Again, Strickland over the middle. It's something that so far Florida State has been giving to the Orange, and they're quite happy to say thank you very much. Now 3rd and short.
It's 3rd down, and this offense is about 3 feet away from that first down marker.
3rd and 1 here on 5 wide. Dungy gets 4 yards. Yeah. Seeing a wide formation here as Dungy comes out. This is the flex bone, something we haven't seen yet today. Fantastic run blocking gets Dungy up a wide gap on the right. drag route on the middle slant, not usually a quick hitter, but based on the look of the defense, Dungy was looking to get it to Ishmael, and Ishmael knew that if he wanted extra yards after the catch, he was going to have to go upfield immediately, and he does, to get every coach's favorite down and distance, 2nd and short. Dante Strickland takes the ball, gets 1 yard, 3rd and inches now on the 32-yard line for the Syracuse Orange. After that run defense on the left side of the line there was, left side of the offense I should say, was very good. Ishmael, elbow bursitis, he is out for 1 quarter. As now we see a split, not a big, but a split. Dungy slides, gets hit after the slide in the head. That is a penalty. That isn't going to get called because this game there are late hits all the time that they don't call. That is an injury that dramatically affects the formations of the Syracuse Orange, as Phillips now has to play for Ishmael. Ishmael plays everywhere, but he plays in the slot in a lot of cases, which means that the injury formation isn't really going to... He's not actually... Because he's a formation sub, he's not going to get replaced properly. Devin Butler does a great job on the shovel pass to get yards, let alone the first down there. It's now 1st and 10 from the 15.
From the 15-yard line. First down. Syracuse is up 7.
Syracuse seeing something it liked pre-snap, runs the ball and knows that the linebacker up on the line of scrimmage between the center and the guard on the right's going to be able to do nothing about running through the gap on the left. Great job there, play calling, the right thing against that defense. It's now 1st and goal from the 4. The red zone offense so far tonight being very, very good for Syracuse.
Looking at 1st and goal. They'll spread the field with 5 wide. Pass will complete to the halfback over the middle. He's tackled around the 1-yard line.
This drive has now taken up more than half of the 3rd quarter. Clearly a strategy on the part of the Syracuse coaching staff, as you can see them frequently getting down to less than 5 seconds to go on the play clock. As we now see 4 wide, single back. And they have audibled into an I. And Strickland runs up the gut for the touchdown.
By the power of Grayskull. Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
Showing balance, mixing the play calling with the run and the pass. Just an overall well-executed touchdown play.
So the score now, 21-7.
Clemson beating somebody ranked, I believe, number 17, a significant loss. Akers, once again, knees the ball down. So far, I don't believe, well, there was the one kick return for the touchdown, which is FSU's only points. That was a kick, not a punt, right? Yeah, sorry. That was it was not returned for a touchdown. It was returned down to the 4. But I wanted to make sure that that 99-yard return that didn't get a touchdown was a kick return, not a punt return. As George Campbell gets 11 yards and is stopped near the sideline. Francois is 7 out of 8, but he's only tried 8 times. And he's been sacked 5.
From their own 36-yard line. First down.
Thomas and the receiver both get hit. It dislodges the ball from the receiver, and that's an incompletion, as we're now going to see spread formation here, 1 tight end and 4 wide receivers.
There's 5 wide receivers split out. The quarterback in the gun.
Black flushes. Franklin misses on the scramble. And DeAndre Francois makes a couple of guys miss and gets 14 yards. He still has a negative average after 5 sacks and 1 productive scramble. But with the ball on the 50-yard line, that scramble does keep the drive alive. Team tackling keep Auden Tate in the backfield.
Second down, 10 to go. Ball on the 49-yard line.
Tight end on the left here. Gavin over the middle. Gets 21 yards over the middle. Coach noting that was a max protection, 7 blockers to match up against 7 blitzers, giving Francois the time and space he needed. The broken tackles allow Patrick, I should say, to get the best run of the game for the Florida State Seminoles. They are now within the 10. Seeing a goal line set here from the Orange, and a fairly heavy set, but still a shotgun. And the pitch gets the touchdown. FSU matriculate the ball down the field. Make it a 1-score game. Riley's underneath it. Solid blocking. gets to the 6-yard line.
I just hope we continue to see this kind of execution. It's a lot of fun to be able to watch these offenses make plays, and it kind of has that feel. Whoever does have the ball last and a chance to make a play can win this game.
Their last drive ended with a touchdown. Let's see what happens on this possession.
You know, when this defense went over to the sideline based on the way they've been playing so far, this defense coordinator thought it was vivid. You've got to get in his face, you've got to sprint him, you've got to get their emotions going.
Dante Strickland tackled by his own teammate. I'm not sure that there was contact by the enemy there, but that's not the rule in college. He was down. But one thing I was going to mention prior to the snap that I think clearly was part of the reason that that play worked so well is that the Seminoles really like to line up their ends well outside of the tackles, and their defensive tackles really on the outside shoulders of the offense's guards, and that potentially, when they don't put linebacker support in the middle, really opens up the middle of the field for the run game out of the shotgun. Something that coaches clearly noticed and been exploiting over the course of this game.
From the 47-yard line, it's second down.
2nd and 6 now. As this time Strickland gets caught in the backfield when the left end blows up his blocker. I'm sorry, that was D-tackle DeMarcus Christmas. Looks like the Orange are going to let the the quarter end, as we move to the 4th.
So at the end of the third quarter, the Orange
Dungy, 8 yards on the scramble. Makes the conversion on 3rd and 7. The pitch to Strickland can't get outside the secondary, but it does a fantastic job of putting the run game away from all but 2 of the defenders. And it does look like Ishmael is back in the game. And you can see him lined up there in the right slot with the dreads. As Dungy gets sacked for a big loss of 10.
This young man didn't even have a chance to make something happen. It's tough to find your receivers when the defense is in your face like that.
We're seeing a hurry up now. And Dungy throws it into nowhere.
So another third down here, and this time it's 3rd and long.
3rd and very long here at 20. Ishmael coming from left to right. Gets all of it. That's a third of his receiving yards on that one play. He keeps the defender inside of him and then cuts right at that first down marker. Gets 1st and 10 from the 12.
First down, 10 yards to go. Ball on the 12-yard line. Syracuse up 7 points.
And another sack for Dungy. 2nd and 20. That's the safety coming in on a blitz, unblocked. As nobody was open downfield. Yeah.
Defense looking for another sack in the 2nd down and long situation.
Yeah.
They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
Dungy scrambling. He slides down, gets 9 yards, makes it 3rd and 11.
He waited and found no one open, so instead of throwing it away, he just took it upfield for himself.
They've looked good so far on 3rd down on this drive. Let's see what happens here. So an empty backfield with 5 wide receivers. They'll call a timeout here to avoid a delay of game penalty.
And coach here looks like he was calling the basketball play. The Phil Jackson, the Doc Rivers. See what they come out in and then call a timeout. A quick formation sub puts Ishmael in the tight end position in the I normal.
So far this drive, the defense has been unable to stop them on 3rd down.
Wide open. Ishmael makes the reception, but the impressive play on that was Dungy, who made the pass on the run under pressure.
But I won't stop now. Come on, cause I can't stop now. Come on, you can hate me now. Do it now. You can hate me now. Do it now. Told you, do it now. Let's go.
And it looks like they're ready for the kickoff.
5 minutes, 19 left. FSU down by 14 again.
This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchdown.
Brad, this is my kind of game. I love seeing this kind of production, the way these quarterbacks are playing. Both teams are challenging both of these defenses.
This is the personnel package we've seen the most of tonight from the Seminoles. 4 wide receivers and 1 back. Thomas not quite there fast enough to get the sack. Campbell gets 6 yards and gets out of bounds.
But whenever you can gain solid yardage, you're doing something right.
They're about 4 yards
40-yard line.
It was.
From their own 40-yard line. First down.
Jacques Patrick loses 2 that time.
Textbook tackle right there. He leveled his shoulders and just put his whole body weight behind that one. Great hit.
The pressure so far being a key part of the success on defense.
Second down.
Expect to see more of it from Syracuse. And a tackle for loss again on Patrick makes it 3rd and long.
He's in trouble. Wants to go long and done. In the air.
And Williams goes up for it. He's throwing into double coverage. Good, tight double coverage. And Williams with the pick. Four minutes left to go in the game. Syracuse now has the ball on their own 28. And Dungy can't quite get away. Derwin James comes all the way around and gets the shoestring tackle, making it 2nd and 15 instead of an easy touchdown. Oh, sorry, easy first down, I should say.
From their own 23-yard line. Second down.
Especially not safeties.
Wide set.
Hoskins gets a hand on the ball. Syracuse very happy not to throw the pick there. One of the stories of the game so far. Syracuse now 10 for 11 on 3rd down. Florida State 1 for 3.
We've got a 1st and 10. Ball on the 44-yard line.
Strickland runs up the gut, gets 8.
Less than 3 minutes in the game.
Thrown up into solid coverage, but Ishmael makes the move to get under it first. Number 13 was with him, but didn't have his eyes on the ball and his eyes on the player.
From the
22-yard line, 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the game. Dungy scrambles, shovels to Richards as somebody reads on him, and Richards muscles through for the touchdown. That is a fullback out, full speed. now a 3-score game with 2:30 left to go.
Any room to breathe in this game. The Wolverines win it 30-24.
The kicker looks like he's ready to kick this one off. Sends it sailing down.
Hofrichter puts it deep, and Syracuse needs it again.
And it goes into the end zone, down for a touchback. Syracuse with 9 on the runs home for air, I guess.
This defense has just been stifling. They've shut down the running game. And for the most part, limited the big plays in the pass game. They got a nice lead here in the fourth quarter.
Quarterback couldn't maintain possession on their last drive. Let's see what he does here.
And I don't think this defense will lay down lightly. They're going to try to continue to rattle this guy.
Man, they take him down immediately. That last pass was good for maybe 5.
Gavin gets 5.
They gain 5 yards out of it. Keep moving the defense back.
From their own 30-yard line. It's second down. A little more than 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Gavin wide open out in the flat. The defender can't stick it. Franklin pushes him out of bounds just outside the 20.
Boy, it's a huge play by the offense, and I got to go back to what the defense dialed up. They brought pressure, which means the offensive line's got to do a good job of communicating to give the quarterback enough time to be able to make the throw. And they did exactly that. They protected him, gave him the time that he needed, and he was able to take advantage of it.
So the big gain resulting from the pass play leaves us with a 1st and 10. Tries to get around the corner.
Gavin's Green this time. I thought it was the same guy. I apologize. But Green's fresh first reception, breaks 3 tackles, makes it 1st and goal from the 1. You see a heavy formation, 2 tight ends, fullback, halfback, 1 wide receiver here coming out of the huddle for Florida State.
First and goal from the 1. Expect to see something straight up the middle. Get out of the field for the official call.
Yeah. 4-inch penalty, more importantly, gives him another attempt.
First down, and they've got their eyes on that goal line. Just over a minute in the fourth quarter.
Naquan Murray, his first reception in a little while.
You've got to give each of these guys credit for getting in sync, really fighting to create that touchdown.
He splits the uprights with the extra point.
Onside kick here for Syracuse. Sorry, Florida State. Ishmael gets his hands on it. Minute 25 left to go, but Florida State still with 3 timeouts.
They're thinking about that score they surrendered the last time around.
This quarterback right now is in a rhythm, and a lot of that has to do with his preparation. You can see right now with the reads he's
Ishmael gets 12 yards and steps out of bounds.
feeling very, very confident in his ability to throw the football against this team.
From the 30-yard line. First down. Makes it rolling right.
Dungy, 7. and forces Florida State to burn a timeout. Second and 3, minute and 16.
They'll spread the field with 5 wide. Throws it out there. They can't connect. Incomplete. The defense got some pressure and forced a bad pass.
I think they've been a little bit more aggressive here with their pass rush, and that time it paid off with an incompletion.
They need about 3 yards to get the first down. Here on 3rd down. Just over a minute left.
Strickland, 4 yards. Second timeout for Florida State. 1st and 10 from the 18 now.
They come out in an empty backfield. He's on the run.
Dungy runs for 8 yards, can't quite escape, but gets to 2nd and 2 and forces Florida State to burn their final timeout.
So it's 2nd down and about 2 yards to go.
Ishmael, 9 yards, 1st and goal from the 1.
Well, the defense was blitzing here, and again, great recognition by the quarterback to find the hot receiver.
5 wide.
And Dungy just throws it away. Nobody open.
I don't understand what the offense is doing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they have the lead, and we're late in the game, and they're still throwing the football. And I understand that sometimes you want to try to rub it into your opponent's face, but here they're stopping the clock and giving the other team a chance to get the ball back.
He's scrambling. He's on the run. The 1 yard.
What? Apparently, Ishmael had to catch that ball, and it never got over the plane.
Now and goal to go. About a yard to Pater. They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
And it's deflected there.
Get it to his receiver. We have less than a minute to go.
And that's a 3-score lead now with 37 seconds remain after some incompletions by Dungy.
Nice kick, plenty of distance. This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchback. The offense now will take the field, and they hope to have the same success they had on their last drive.
It was a really nice drive, too, Brad. The quarterback got into a nice rhythm and did a good job of picking apart the defense.
And he's got it. He's to the 40. And they make the stop right around the 46-yard line.
Gavin makes the catch. The ball stays in bounds. The clock is going to start going live. There it goes.
He's tackled at the 47-yard line.
7 yards. Clock not going to stop. Florida State now forced to hurry it up as they spike to stop the clock with 14 seconds. 3rd and 3. And the sack on DeAndre Francois is the closing act. As there's unlikely, no way that they get it off. FSU goes down 38-21. an excellent all-around smart game, an excellent game by Dungey. 24 for 33, 19 carries, but intentionally slowing the game down, making sure to exploit what the excellent Florida State defense was willing to give them, and keep the offense, the strength of the Syracuse Orange, on the field. .25 first downs, 438 total yards of offense for the Orange. 159 yards of it on the ground. 34 rushes, 35 attempted passes. Very balanced game. 11 out of 13 on third down as opposed to 1 out of 5. That combined with a turnover differential of 1. And time of possession of 23-20 to 8:40 shows why this game ended up in the Orange's favor. Dungey, 24 out of 33, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, solid game. On the ground, though, he had another 74 yards. Strickland added another 65, and 3 touchdowns between them. Ishmael, 126 yards receiving, Strickland, 48, Phillips, 73. Five sacks among 4 players. Thomas with 2, Slayton with 1, Williams with 1, and Coleman with 1. 3 sacks. Yeah. Matthew Thomas, the number 6 outside linebacker, the most significant defender by far. Derwin James Jr. getting the return, but not a touchdown on it. All right, thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick intermission, and then we'll be back with the second game of our doubleheader, which is number 4 Memphis at undefeated number 4 Memphis at my United States Naval Academy. We'll be back soon. Stick around.